tomorrow. We all set with Coach?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. For the first time of many visits this basketball season, let's bring him in. The head basketball coach of the University of Mount Union, the undefeated 8-0 Purple Raiders. Here he is. Drum roll, please. Mike Fuline joining us live on the show. Coach Mike, good afternoon. We appreciate you coming on. How are you, my man?
Sammy, I'm doing well. Cold, like you said.
Oh, blustery.
It's brutal out there. I miss the summer already.
It is absolutely brutal out there. It's going to get worse. We appreciate you coming on. And, wow. Hey, so far so good. I know we're still it's still kind of early. You guys are still kind of finding your way. I know you got several levels to go, I think, with this team. I think they're going to be that good. But your thoughts on the first 8 games and some of the highs and lows if you had to take a look at?
Yeah, I think you said it best. I think we have, the ability to have a really, really special year. It's, as you know, you've seen some of it. We go through some mental lapses at times, but, this is kind of a new team. I think we're all interested to see how life without Christian Parker would be, and he's such a tremendous player for us. And but we've responded well, and I didn't make it easy on him being on the road for the first 6 games. We were on a bus, I think 30 hours over those 3 weekends, and playing back to backs, so it was difficult. But when we got through those 6 games, I was proud of them, and that was a fight. Played some really good teams on the road in some gyms where, it's tough to perform. And then to come home against Worcester and play a solid game. I don't know if it was a great game, was a good start. And then obviously when you start league play, Otterbein is going to be one of those teams that is just going to be there at the end, so that was a great win for us at home. And but the real test will be in a couple days.
Yeah, I thought Otterbein, my God, they must have 15 graduate seniors on that team. Garita, right away, I looked at the roster. Oh, yeah, he's been here 15 years.
Yeah.
But hey, that was a good game for you guys. Again, you had a couple of times you had to call timeout and get everybody kind of refocused, and they went out and handled their business. I did want to ask you about the start of the season. I think your first 6 were all on the road before Worcester. And I was able to watch a couple of the games via stream, and you talked about, you kind of had to create your own energy some of those nights in those gymnasiums. And was there a game or two on that opening trip, Coach, that really stood out to you and you really liked?
Yeah, I think the first one, with Penn State Harrisburg, they were a tournament team a year ago. I think they made it to the Sweet 16 2 years ago. We had went there. It's probably like my 6th year when I was at Mountain. They got us there pretty good, but very physical, up-tempo team on the road, great crowd. But we responded, man. I mean, Chance was phenomenal that game, and Eli. I think there was like 50 total, fouls called. But the one thing about this team that's different is, knock on wood, we've been able to make some free throws.
Yes,
we haven't been able to do in the past 3 or 4 years. It probably cost us a national championship. So. That's a positive thing. But that game for sure, because it was the first game, we really didn't know what we were going to be about. And then, we played Case Western Reserve. We haven't played them, since I've been here for a while. And man, they had 2 really big players that they're going to be really, really strong team in their league. And went down like 12 in the first quarter or first half and brought it up. We were up 2 at halftime and then put it away in the second half. And we've seen everything: presses, zones, traps. Physical, not so physical, teams that can shoot. Like, we've seen it all, which is fun. This group, I told our coaching staff today, reminds me of a couple of our special teams that you're just able to coach them. They're not high drama and all those types of things. You're just able to prepare and talk about the game plan and coach them hard. And, I love teams like that.
It seems the games that I've seen in person, this group really loves each other. They really they get after it with the celebrations. They probably think they need to tone it down a little bit sometimes. But even during some of the tough times, you could see there was a lot of, come on, guys, come on, fellas, a little pat on the behind, a little fist bump. I think this team really enjoys each other, don't you?
I do. And that was the strength. So we knew coming in, even in the summertime, we had some early fall, we went down to, Larry Huggins' camp in the woods and spend a night there and practice. And we talked about it. We had a great speaker in Mike Peterson, and just talked about the strengths of the team are just the togetherness. They really, really like each other. They care about each other. I think they were up for the challenge. What can we do with almost, even like Chance and Jarrett, and these guys only played half a year or a year. So there was a lot of new players, but they were excited to be the next team, other than Dante, no one's won anything. He was the only one on that team from a couple years ago. I remind them of that quite a bit. Like sometimes they think they've done something and they haven't, and so as a staff, we try to just keep drilling it in them what it takes to win this league, to win a game in this league. And, they've responded really, really well. I think the one part that we always fight, every team fights, just making the extra pass, trusting the teammate. And we saw that. We had 20 assists our last game, and that should be a norm for us. You got so many guys that teams have to guard, even off the bench. I mean, we have guys that aren't even really getting any minutes right now, that you just trust each other and share it. If they're open, throw it to them and make it. If you don't, we'll try it again the next time down the floor.
That's right. Yeah, just keep doing it. Mike Fuline is our guest, head coach of Mount Union Purple Raiders here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPM. Hope to have Coach with us once a week throughout the basketball season. Today, the first visit, and off to a terrific start. I want to go back. You mentioned life without Christian Parker. What did you envision that being like early on?
Well, it's strange because even when I was coaching high school, the first time you're with the team and a guy that's been there, like the Mark Hennigers, the Brad DuPont, all those guys, and they're not there. It's just an empty feeling. It's just strange, and that was the feeling with Christian. I had him for, 5 years, with the COVID year being his first year. So it just takes a second to get used to they're not in the gym, and then you just kind of practice and then things kind of get back to normal. But when you watch film, like we'll watch the games that we played prior, the teams we played last year, and he just was the guy that, we get in trouble, we just threw it into him, and so far right now it's been by committee. I think Elijah has been tremendous for us, kind of picking up where Christian left off there. Our guard play has been phenomenal. Having Caleb back, people don't understand not having him last year was devastating to Christian too, because he's such a great defender, post defender. He does all the dirty work. He's a great talker on the floor. So him being back has been tremendous.
Mike Fuline is, I guess, the head basketball coach at Mount Union here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, all across our social media platforms, including the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Coach, I want to ask you about a couple of guys. One, he is just instant juice, and that's Kevin Hamilton, the young man from St. V and then Youngstown State. And then how about Sean Vaden? He just looks like a mean old son of a gun down there in the paint now, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's great when they're talking to each other, because one's about 5'7" with the shoes on, and the other one's 6'11", but both tremendous human beings. And Sammy, you and I have been doing this for a long time. We've had many of these talks over the years. But as you get older in this profession, you just want to be around guys who you enjoy being around. And those are two of the best people that you can have. And that's our entire team. Like it's just fun to go to practice and to go to games. But specifically, getting Kevin, we recruited Kevin Hamilton out of high school. He went on a journey to a junior college and then to Youngstown State. And then finally, I'm friends with the Youngstown State guys, and they're like, hey, he's going to want to leave. You got to talk to him. I said, I've been trying to talk to him. So I give Drew Joyce a ton of credit. He called me and he helped me just convince him to stay closer to home. Well, we just couldn't get him on a visit. So he finally came on a visit, and then it was over. Like, I'm in, so, Deshaun's kind of the same crazy story. Just started playing. I think he only played a year or two in high school, and then came to Mount Union just to come to he was a student at the university, liked our arts and things like that. Saw him walking around. He'd play open gym with our guys. And they're like, Coach, you got to convince him to play. So the next summer, I see him and I'm like, hey, if you're interested, just, call me. So I'm on vacation and it's that call. I'm like, who is this? And I answer it. And he's like, I want to play. I'm like, I love it. So you saw his steps, even on film, you can see him from last year His
Oh,
body.
my gosh.
Yeah, he's put on 15, 20 pounds. But the most important thing is he's playing. You know, he just needed that experience. So what a great guy, man. He's funny, dude. He's like, when you watch him on the court, he's completely opposite of that. I mean, leads our Bible studies. And I'm like, dude, if you get a technical foul, like, what are you doing? You know, so but he is having pure fun out there. You know, he could care less about a lot of things, but he loves playing basketball.
And he is fun to watch. I mean, I really enjoyed every minute he gets. I'm like, oh, we got to cherish every minute he's on the court because he's just so fun to watch. A couple of the youngsters I wanted to catch on was, of course, Cam Weekly, the young man out of Jackson, and the young man from Massillon, Chris Knight. Mm-hmm. And I got to watch both those guys play a lot in their high school career, and I thought, boy, would they look good in purple. What's your assessment on those two young men so far?
You know, I don't like talking a lot and hyping them up too much.
Sure.
But I want to, because they're going to be tremendous, man. I mean, they're going to be, you know, as a freshman, it's hard because just trying to learn the defense and understanding, like, there's not one possession where if you're out of place and, you know, it can cost us. It can cost us a game. So I'm protected of putting them in positions where I don't think they can be successful.
Right.
But they're every day, man. I'm telling you, they're earning minutes. I mean, it's tremendous. You know, Cam, I've known since he was a young guy, and his family. I've always thought, and you know, I have my son as a great resource who played with all these guys. I always thought he was as special as they come. I loved his pace, his tempo. Everyone loves the way he shoots. I mean, he shoots the heck out of it, but you know, the way we run offense, once he gets some experience in some of these ball screens and how he comes off of those, he makes the right read, man. He's going to be great defensively. We're still building that, right? And it's the same as Chris. I mean, Chris is so dynamic. You know, once these guys get 10, 15 pounds, it doesn't even have to be a lot. I mean, the sky's the limit because their skill level, their ability to learn, to compete and coach. I mean, we wouldn't skip a beat with them playing, you know, 20 minutes a game, you know. So that's the hard part about coming to like our place is sometimes you just have to be so patient, you know. But the guys who are patient, man, you know, Dante hasn't really played. He's a senior. Here and there a little bit. He was on the championship runner-up team, and now he's getting his moment to play. And I just respect and love guys, you know, that show you the same commitment as you're trying to show them.
Well, you must be reading off my card over here. I'm thinking you talked about when these guys, they mature physically, mentally, they get more minutes, more everything. Do you find it might be like it's going to be really hard for you as the head coach to maybe divvy up some minutes on certain nights because you've got more than enough guys that are more than capable of going out there and keeping you right where you want to be?
Well, it's one thing Larry Karras always taught me. You never have enough good players, man. And he's right. You know, you just go through a course of a season, and whether a guy's slumping, whether there's an illness, there's an injury, you just got to always be ready. You know, you just have to be ready. You know, we've seen more zone than we've seen in years, you know, because of the two big guys that we always have on the floor. There's usually a mismatch there. So, Cam, you're in, right? Or Dante, you're in. And it just depends on the situation, but it's a great problem. It's a great problem to have. You know what really solves it is winning games. You know how that goes. Once it goes sideways, then everybody thinks they should be playing it. And they're probably right, you know, but basketball is a game where you can only play 5. But we're blessed to have those guys for sure.
No doubt. Mike Fuline is our guest, head coach of the Purple Raiders of Mount Union, joining us here at 1310 WDPN. By the way, I should remind everybody, Mount Union will be on the road down in New Concord on Saturday at 1. They'll take on the Muskies. That'll be at 1 o'clock, and then the Raiders are back home. Our next broadcast here on 1310 WDPN next Tuesday, not Wednesday, next Tuesday at 7, as Baldwin Wallace will come to the Mac Center. Coach, it's a 3-question Thursday. We were able to put Jeff Dart through this every single week. Are you ready to take the quiz?
The pressure to follow my man Dart. Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go. All right, question number 1. Depending on the vacation destination, do you prefer to drive or fly?
Fly with
Fly.
the capital FLY. Listen, man,
I knew it.
my wife and I, we're not rich by any means, but once you have 5 kids and you go on those journeys and, to Hilton Head and the car rides, once you get to a point in life where your butt's getting on that plane, I live 5 minutes from Akron, Canton. I'll be in South Carolina in an hour and 10 minutes. I don't care if I have to sell a kidney. We are flying, my friend. Fly.
I'm with you all the way. Yeah. We only have 1 kid. All right. Question number 2. Coach Fuline's all-time Christmas movie.
That's a tough one, man. There's some old school, movies that everyone kind of likes, but I'm telling you, whenever I watch Elf, I laugh, and then I'm a big Vince Vaughn fan. 4 Christmases, I can't, when it comes on, I can't change it. I can't change it because it's just so funny. But you can't go wrong with any Christmas movie.
All right, now this, I have to admit, this last question, I kind of had you in mind when I came up with it. And don't take offense to it. I think you'll find it very funny. How many times a day do you swear on a given day?
Oh my goodness. Well, it depends if it's game day or not game day.
Outside of the huddle, because I hear things, but
I know you're too close to me. That's the problem. It's crazy because I think people who don't know me well would be shocked, but that's my one very, very, very bad habit. And I promise you, I try so hard, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So there's over-unders probably for a day. It's definitely under 5 on a non-game day, maybe under 2, but on game day, man, or a bad practice, things can get a little hazy, but it's out of love, man. It's I
know it is. I know it is. And look, if I throw Uncle Joe into the equation, oh my.
Oh, listen, now he's over.
He's
about 50 to 60, and but where do you think I learned it from? Now I tell you this. Here's the crazy part. I grew up in a home. My mother and father never swore. Never heard my mom or dad ever swear. So that's all on me. It's all on me.
I got to tell you, and I hate to even say this, one of the things that I look forward to doing a broadcast, because we're located right by the bench, and God forbid, we miss a free throw or 2 in a row, and Uncle Joe just goes on a tirade of profanity on that stool, and it's all I can do, Coach, is to not laugh.
I know. So listen. I got him behind me and my father at the end. Having a nervous breakdown. He puts himself in AFib. Now watching our last game against Muskingum last year, we win in double overtime. He's off the bench. He's talking to the fans. He's coming back on the bench. He's pacing on the sideline, and that's what I love it, right? We've done that for so many years, but Uncle Joe, man, he then he gets me going, right? Did you see that call? It's like, listen, we used to have Sunday dinners growing up, and it was so bad. My grandma would yell at us because once one gets going, we all kind of get going. But that's sort of what it reminds me of.
Oh my God, so funny, Coach Mike. Always a pleasure. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Down the new Concord, and we'll see you. We'll see you at the MAC on Tuesday night. Okay.
Sounds good, brother. I'll see you, man.
Thank you. There he goes. Mike Fuline, head basketball coach. I'm crying over here right now. At the University of Mount Union. We got you covered all season with the Raiders here on 1310 WDP.